Who is the biggest star in this year's NFL draft? It should be easy because it's a landslide. By a mile, it's not even close. Lamar Jackson is by far the biggest star in this year's NFL draft. He's like the next Cam Newton or Russell Westbrook. He's one of those guys. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody loves him. People feel very strongly about Lamar Jackson. He's polarizing. And look, I'll be honest. I watch interviews with Lamar Jackson on Dan Patrick, and I'm like, man, I like this guy. Lamar Jackson's honest. He's relatable. I like Lamar Jackson. And Lamar Jackson recently has made decisions that I support and some decisions that I don't. So we're going to discuss those. So first, Lamar Jackson decided not to run the 40-yard dash at the combine and then again at his pro day. He said, I'm not going to run the 40-yard dash. Who cares? Who cares? Does anybody think Lamar Jackson is slow? No. Why do we need a number to quantify how fast Lamar Jackson is? We all know how fast he is. He's incredibly fast. You can't tackle him. So I think people are freaking out a little bit, outraged, a little bit. They're overreacting when they hear that Lamar Jackson decided not to run a 40-yard dash. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. Look, I probably would have ran. If it was me, I probably would have ran a 40-yard dash. I'm trying to show off all of my best skills. If I'm a great writer, I'm going to do the essay on the application because I want to show I'm a great writer. But I understand why Lamar Jackson did not run a 40-yard dash. Lamar Jackson's trying to prove I'm a quarterback. I'm not a receiver. I want to remove the stigma that I am a receiver. I have no problem with it. I really don't. I think Lamar Jackson is on a mission. He's saying, I'm a quarterback. Watch me throw. I want to take all the eyes away from the running thing. And I think it's right. I support that. Does anybody think Lamar Jackson is slow? No. Hell no. We know Lamar Jackson can run. He ran for 1,500 yards each of the last 2 seasons. He ran for 21 touchdowns in 2016, 18 touchdowns last year. Lamar Jackson is the best quarterback I have ever seen play the quarterback position. I don't care if he doesn't run a 40. It's just a number. What, he's going to run a 4.3? All we would hear about is how fast he is, how maybe he should play receiver. Lamar Jackson doesn't want the emphasis on his speed. Lamar Jackson wants the emphasis once again on how well he can throw the ball. Now, people are defending Lamar Jackson saying, well, of course he shouldn't run a 40-yard dash. Tom Brady's 40-yard dash doesn't matter. That's also stupid. So people are overreacting too far to one side and too far to the other side. Running is, without a shadow of a doubt, a big part of Lamar Jackson's game. But I understand the focus, trying to shift the attention away from his running ability. I get that. That makes sense to me. But his decision not to hire an agent, that's one that I don't like. Lamar Jackson decided he wasn't going to hire an agent. He hired instead his mom to represent him. I don't agree with that. In fact, there are reports now that NFL teams have had trouble scheduling meetings with Lamar Jackson. And there are some situations where you just go get help. You just spend the money. If my house is overrun by bugs, I'm not going to try to solve that problem with myself. I'm not going to say, hey, mom, you want to be my exterminator? I'm going to go get an exterminator. And I think some situations, they just require professionals. They require professionals to help. Not to mention, I don't like mixing family with business. I just don't know that that's always smart. An agent, if Lamar Jackson had an NFL agent, what he would have brought in is a guy who's already been through that experience. That is the benefit of having an agent. You have a guy who's already prepped multiple athletes for the draft. That's what you would get. Look, I love my dad. My dad is one of my closest friends, one of my closest allies. My dad's smart. He's a good businessman. I respect my dad. But if I was offered a contract to be a broadcaster, I'm not going to bring my dad in. I'm going to ask my dad, hey, what do you think? But ultimately, I'm going to go with my agent. I trust my agent more than my dad because my agent has been there, done that before. Doesn't mean you can't get opinions from your parents. Look, I get it. He trusts his mom. He wants to keep his mom. He wants to keep his business in the family. But I would have hired an agent if I was Lamar Jackson. Now, there's this thing that is just, it's ridiculous and it's driving me nuts. So Lamar Jackson scored a 13 on the Wonderlic Test. Look it up. Look up the Wonderlic Test. You can take it yourself. The Wonderlic Test, what it is it's a multiple choice test that supposedly tests your IQ. People give it way, way too much weight. In fact, you know what I should do? I should film myself taking a Wonderlic Test. I think that'd be interesting. But the point is, people give it too much weight. They say, oh, if you have a bad Wonderlic score, maybe you're not going to be a great quarterback. So let's look at the numbers. Because what I see is that the Wonderlic has no correlation with NFL success at quarterback. None. None at all. Here are the top 5 quarterbacks ever in the Wonderlic score. Ryan Fitzpatrick scored a 48 out of 50. Greg McElroy. Jason Moss scored a 43. Blaine Gabbert, 42. Drew Henson, 42. Moss, 43. The top 5 are quarterbacks. One quarterback has had some success, and the other 4 are quarterbacks you might not have even heard of. Until the 9th quarterback on the list, you don't even find a quarterback that's had massive success. Ryan Nassib, number 6, 41. Bruce Eugene, who is that? 41. Hugh Millen, 41. Finally, at number 9, you get Carson Wentz scored a 40 out of 50. I think that says enough, but let's go even further. This is how much the Wonderlic does not matter for NFL quarterbacks. You ever heard of Terry Bradshaw? You ever heard of Dan Marino? Maybe you heard of Dan Marino. Oh, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. Randall Cunningham, Steve McNair. Yeah, Terry Bradshaw got a 16 out of 50. Dan Marino, 16 out of 50. Randall Cunningham, 15 out of 50. Steve McNair, 15 out of 50. The Wonderlic score does not matter. Does not affect how well you can read defenses. Does not affect how well you can throw a football. Can we look at tape? Can we just look at tape? I'm so sick of all these. You're nitpicking. You're looking at every little reason you possibly can to tear a guy down. It is driving me nuts. People go out, they watch Josh Allen's pro day. And everybody overreacts. Oh my God. Did you see Josh Allen, how well he threw in shorts? Oh, nobody has ever won a football game in gym shorts. I'm sorry, that's the truth. If you ask me, Lamar Jackson is the 4th best quarterback in this NFL draft. Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, Baker Mayfield. Ding, ding, ding. Then you got Lamar Jackson. I put Lamar Jackson ahead of even Josh Allen. Some people say he should be higher. They're silly. People say, oh, Lamar Jackson won a Heisman. How can you discount that? So did Johnny Manziel. So winning a Heisman does not mean you will be a successful NFL quarterback. Again, Tim Tebow won a Heisman. Johnny Manziel won a Heisman. Danny Werfel won a Heisman. Lots of guys win Heismans. That does not mean you'll be successful in the NFL. I would draft Lamar Jackson. He's not a bust. People are overreacting too far to one side and too far to the other. Lamar Jackson is not the best quarterback in this NFL draft, and he's not a wide receiver. Stop overreacting. He's the 4th best quarterback in this NFL draft, and I would take him. He's not a bust. If I'm the Steelers, if I'm the Chargers, if I'm the Saints, oh man, so if I already have a quarterback in place and I can get Lamar Jackson on my roster, I'm doing it. I am pulling the trigger. Yeah, I like Lamar Jackson. I think he really needs to sit behind a veteran for a year. Give him the Aaron Rodgers treatment. But Lamar Jackson, again, he's not the best quarterback in the draft. But for goodness sake, he's not a wide receiver. He's not a bust. He's a good quarterback, a quarterback that I would draft. I'd sit him for a year. In fact, if I'm Arizona with the 15th pick and I don't trade up, if for some reason Arizona doesn't trade up to try to get a quarterback early, I would very heavily consider drafting Lamar Jackson. You're in a great division. The Cardinals have no hope of winning for the years to come. I would be like, look, we got to give the fans something to watch. We got to draft Lamar Jackson. And remember, the Cardinals have Sam Bradford, so until Sam Bradford's knee blows out again, Lamar Jackson can sit on the bench. He can sit and learn. And I got to point out, if Lamar Jackson slides in the NFL draft, it would actually help him. Imagine Lamar Jackson on the Pittsburgh Steelers. You got Antonio Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster. If you can keep Le'Veon Bell, imagine those pieces with a dynamic quarterback like Lamar Jackson. Whew, woo-hoo-hoo. That would be terrifying. It'd be horrific. No one wants to play that. Now, the one thing that drives me kind of nuts is people compare Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson. I don't think they're that similar. But Lamar Jackson could benefit by sliding in the draft the same way Deshaun Watson did. Deshaun Watson slid in the draft and ended up with the Houston Texans. which helped him. Let's be honest, he went to one of the best rosters in the entire NFL. If Lamar Jackson slides in the draft, it could very much help him. Imagine him with the Jaguars. Lamar Jackson's from Miami. Imagine Lamar Jackson with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Oh, whoo. Jacksonville would have a whole new meaning. Or imagine Lamar Jackson with the Steelers. My point is, stop overreacting when it comes to Lamar Jackson. He's not the best quarterback in this year's NFL draft, but he's also not a bust. Lamar Jackson's definitely a guy worth drafting. So relax, stop overreacting, and move forward. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to help me grow Strong Opinion Sports, share a link to this on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. If you understand Reddit, I have no idea. If you want to help me grow Strong Opinion Sports, share this with your friends. And if you really love Strong Opinion Sports, if you love Strong Opinion Sports as much as I do, you can subscribe to Strong Opinion Sports on iTunes, on SoundCloud, on Google Play, and on YouTube. Tell your friends about Strong Opinion Sports and subscribe if you'd like to. Have a great day. Thank you so much.